All right, this is a contact video on selling sets. Okay, and if you're watching this, you're probably still in your fast start. If you're not, this would be a good refresher on selling sets. This is a basic. A lot of times we get away from the basics, and really, first thing you have to understand about selling sets is that who it's best for. It's best for two people. It's best for you, and it's best for your customers. Why is it best for the customers? It's best for the customers because A, they get discount. Okay, our sets are discounted anywhere between 10 to 15%. It's not now that's not a huge discount, but you know, the customer, if you said I'll take 10% off, 15% off, they'd probably be excited about that. All right. The reason why is because in business, time is money. All right. So if you have a piece order, let's say it was a homemaker piece order, and it's like, okay, well, okay, they get the packing order. It's like, okay, go get a paring knife. Okay, we'll go get a paring knife. All right, let's go get a trimmer. Let's put the trimmer in there. Get the spatula spreader. All right, that takes time versus a homemaker set. Take it off the rack, get it shipped. Okay, so that's why the company discounts the sets, because we want to encourage people to buy sets. Second reason why it's good for your customers is they have the proper knife for what they're doing. All right, so again, people who buy one or two knives, they're not happy with them. All right, I used to, as a rep, when I got a little good at it, understand that customers ask for things because you haven't sold them on things. Like, for example, if a customer asked me, could I buy a paring knife? If they wanted to buy a paring knife, I literally would tell the customer, Ms. Jones, you can buy a paring knife, but you can't buy it from me. I'll give you the number for the company, but I refuse to sell you a paring knife by itself. And they would say, why? You know, that was their question, like, why? I go, well, here's why, Mrs. Jones. You get this paring knife, you know, it's like $49, whatever the price is nowadays, when you're watching this video, plus tax, shipping, all the other stuff. So you're going to end up spending about $60, maybe $65 on this paring knife. Now, Ms. Jones, it's worth that much, and you'll love it. However, what's going to happen is it's got a straight edge on it, and you're going to buy the paring knife, and you're going to overuse it. You're going to use it way too much, and then it's going to be the sharpest knife in your drawer. So you're always going to grab the sharpest knife, and you use it for, like, you know, ice. You're going to use it for like big melons and rinds. You're going to use it on the cutting board, and it's going to go dull. Now, Mr. Jones, the great thing about our products is you have a guarantee, and it's guaranteed you can get it sharpened anytime you want. But really, Ms. Jones, what are the odds of you taking your one knife, wrapping it up, putting it in a box, addressing it, and sending it to the company to get resharpened? All right, probably 0 to none. So what's going to end up happening, and you'll probably forget you have a guarantee because you only bought one. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to put it in your drawer, and it's going to be dull after like 2 months. And every time you look at that knife, you're going to say, oh yeah, you're going to think of one person, me, okay, the person who sold you a $60 dull knife. And honestly, Ms. Jones, my reputation is much more important to me than, you know, the $20 I'll make if you buy that knife. And so point being is, I'll sell you, you know, if you want to call a company, I won't sell you a paring knife, but what I will do is I'll find you a set that will help you keep your paring knife and make sure that you really enjoy what it is that you're buying. I'm not going to sell you something that's going to be a waste of your time. All right, and that's totally honest, straightforward, right to the fact. And for some reason, when reps start working with us, they're like, well, I don't want to be conniving, underhanded, pushy salespeople. But then when they actually do the job, they're afraid to, like, just tell customers the truth and just tell them straight up what the truth is, and that is the absolute truth. I truly, honestly believe every single person should own a homemaker. That's got to be your belief in your head. All right, our homemaker set is awesome. It is perfect for a homeowner. All right, if you literally go through it, we don't add a bunch of stuff to it. Now, guys, an ultimate sets are awesome too. And do I think that people who actually cook would get the use out of the ultimate set? Yeah, they would. Maybe as time went on, they would use more of the knives. But there is no reason someone should say, you know, the ultimate set's about a 30-piece set, and you should start with that, and that has all the bells and whistles. But there is no way someone could tell me they can't use a homemaker. All right, a paring knife, you're going to use a paring knife, Ms. Jones. A trimmer, you're going to use a trimmer. Spatula spreader, you're going to make a sandwich or bake a cake. You know, a petite carver, you're going to have something. You're going to have some kind of cantaloupe or melon or something that a steak. You're going to need a petite carver for. A turning fork, well, you got to hold the thing when you're cutting it. You're going to flip things over. You're going to need a fork at some point. You know, a chef knife, every single chef has a chef knife. Every single homeowner has a chef knife in there. You need at least one dicing knife, one chopping knife. The butcher knife, you're going to need that. You're going to have some frozen hamburgers, frozen hot dogs. When you have chicken, just join the chicken. It saves so much money in the household. You know, what else? A slicer, bread knife. You know, everyone makes bread. Everyone has bread. Boneless meats. You know, cakes, that kind of stuff. You're going to use that. And the carving set. You know, the only thing you could maybe sell me on that you won't need all the time is a carving set. But I'll tell a customer, I go, Ms. Jones, your carving set you're not going to use every single minute. But people love that carving set, and you're going to have it twice. You maybe use it twice a year. And even if you do, you know, family gatherings at grandma's house, you know, well, in 20 years, Ms. Jones, you're going to be grandma. Okay. So the knives, you'll still use them. You'll have a roast or something where you'll have to do this carving knife. And table knives, you need to have table knives. I mean, even if you don't cook at all, you probably eat. So the point is that there's not one of those knives that it's like a wasted knife or like it's a duplicate knife. Like the salmon knife is in the the ultimate set. Now, do I like the salmon knife? Yes. Do I think it's awesome? By the way, I use it myself. It's really cool. But you don't really need a salmon knife on a daily, you know, in a basic set. Okay, it's a cool knife. It's something that people love when they have it. Just like all the knives, everything that they love. But the basic homemaker set, and even dropping down even to the smaller sets, like if you want to go from a homemaker to a galley and take out the butcher knife and the carving knife and the carving fork, well then they should buy a galley. Like there's no way you can tell me in the world that there's one piece in the galley that you're not going to be using, you know, on a weekly basis. So you have to have that conviction. You see what I'm talking about right now? That conviction has to be there when you're talking to your customers, okay? So they're better from them because they'll have the proper knife to use. They won't overuse the knives. They won't go dull. It's more exciting when they get it. Like when they get a knife, they don't care. They take the knife out, they go, oh, it's my knife, and they put it in their drawer. When they get like a set, okay, you can, if you can, go to people's house. I know our top reps, what they do is they get the bigger set to them and they bring them to their house, bring it to the customer's house because they can see the excitement. Like it's go talk to your customers when they get their products. Go over to their house when they get their products. When they get a set, okay, it is cool. It's like the highlight of the day. All right, they take the knives out, they start cutting stuff, they use them that night, they talk about them like they're putting them in the right spot. Like they really do. I mean, it's an exciting event. I know it's just buying, but just people get excited when they buy new clothes. People get excited when they buy a new car. People get excited when they buy a new TV. You know, it's an exciting thing. And when they get a set, when they get a knife, it's a knife. They're not really that excited about it. Okay, so plus you give them free stuff with the sets. You don't give them free stuff with individual pieces, so you can give them more value really for what they're doing. You know, they get a studio set and you give them a pair of shears for free. You know, they spend $300, you give them $100 a free thing. I mean, come on, that's a third for free. What do you want? All right, so that's kind of how it goes. All right, so understand it's much better for the customer to buy a set, and it's better for you as a rep. You get your promotions faster. You have pride, you have accomplishment in what you've done. Okay, you know, I've never had a rep I sold a trimmer. I have had a rep come in and say I sold a studio set, or I sold a galley set, or essential set. You know, selling sets is just exciting. Yeah, I take a lot of pride in that. I sold 12 studio sets in a row at one point. Okay, now this is just crazy, but I just 12 demos, 12 studio sets because I love that freaking thing. I was like, Mr. Jones, it's a paring knife, a trimmer, a spatula spreader, and a petite carver. You cannot tell me, even that's what we call a studio set. Even if you have a kitchen, you're going to use those 4 knives, and it's only like $70, $80 a month. You know, if you don't get the table knives. So I mean, that's just a great deal. You know, for 5 months for those 4 knives and some free shears or some free something that I would give them. So I would just forget it. And I love that streak, by the way. I was like, yeah, another demo, another studio, another demo, another studio. Okay, and I love that streak of selling studio sets. All right, diving into the sets. You can give free stuff. I like giving free stuff to people. Okay, like that's makes me feel good. Like to say, hey, I can give you some free things along with that. I know what kind of value they're getting with that. Obviously, you make more income, you know, on the sets. Your income is much better on selling sets than selling pieces, and it's a reason for you to follow up with the customer. Okay, like if a customer has a set, even if it's a studio or an essential set, it makes sense for you to call and say, hey, how does that essential set? You know, did you like it? Where'd you put it? Okay. Oh, did you make? And you can do a follow-up call. Okay. Oh, by the way, you know, you did the 5-month plan. Just wanted to let you know your next charge is coming through. You know, in the next couple days here. So I just wanted to give you a heads up about that. How do you like the knives? How's the set? Oh, they're great. Blah blah blah. Okay. So it gives you reasons to continue meeting up with the customer, contacting the customer. All together. So, guys, people buy things in sets. It doesn't make sense to buy things individually. People don't buy Wusthof and Henckels and Schun in pieces. They don't go and buy one piece of Henckels. That's stupid, all right? They go and buy a set, all right? So when you go to the customer's house, the only reason they usually have bought a set of junky knives, and then they just lost some of them or they replaced them, and then but when you talk about, you know, nobody buys one shoe, nobody buys, you know, one chair for their kitchen. They buy a set of chairs, okay, or a kitchen set, or a dining room set, or a living room set. You don't get a serving. You don't get one plate at a time. You get all the plates. Okay, you get a serving of 12. You don't get one, and I'll buy more later. So it's just kind of how it goes. And I'll wrap up on this with the context part, and then the next video will be more about what to say and how to say it. But you have to have the conviction. But I remember hearing a representative, it was a top rep, who talked to me, and we were at Olean, and they were asking, what is your job? Like, what's your job? Okay? And I was like, well, my job is I sell Cutco. I was like, no, your job is to sell homemakers. Okay? Like, that's your job. And I was like, okay, and I thought about that, and it's, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. Like, your job is to sell people a homemaker set. What they buy is up to them, but you're selling the homemaker set, or the ultimate, or the signature, or a galley, or an essentials, or whatever. But your job is to sell homemaker sets. That's what we are. That's what our whole demonstration is designed to do. Our whole demonstration, the set is designed. It's 8 knives and 2 forks, guys. Okay, so you got to be able to tell a customer, look, Miss Jones, we're not talking about a Mamma Jamma 40-piece set here. We're talking about 8 knives and 2 forks, and every single one has something different that it does in your kitchen, and it's something that most people do every day in their kitchen. So my job is to sell you on that. Here's the set that most people get. Here's the most popular set. Here's the set that I recommend. Here's the set my mom has, this person, that person. Now I'll talk more about third-person stories when I teach you how to sell sets. But understand, that's your job. Sell homemaker sets. You got to figure that out, and that's the best thing for the customer, and it's the best thing for you.